G'day, Steve Morgan here, Fishing Monthly Magazines. We've got one day left on the 2021 Zerek BARRA Tour. And that's a part of the Zerek BARRA series, which is 6 events all through the year. Some really cool stuff's been happening for me on BARRA Tour this year because I've really learned how to use my Garmin Livescopes, and particularly the perspective mode, which is the mode that doesn't look forward at the fish, it looks sideways in a 180-degree arc about 20 feet down. Now I've got some really cool recordings of the footage to show you, but let's first go through a little bit of the technique that's been working for me this trip. And let me preface this by saying that Tommy Wood from Team Sunshine Coast Marine Electrical Doctor, we did a video on this at the Australian Open, and he taught me how to use these Samaki Redic lures. The number one tip that he gave me was you've got to work them slow. And with the Livescope combined with this technique, we've really got an insight into how the barra behave and actually how slow they like it. And you'll see that on the clip soon. Fish the Redic and also fish the Daiwa double clutch. That's the barra tune double clutch. Fish them on braided line and either a fluorocarbon or a mono leader. There's 50-pound Wilson FC there. There's 55-pound Schneider mono there. So the mono gets it shallower. This one goes only 4 to 5 feet. The fluorocarbon gets it deeper. They can get down 12 to 15 feet if I work it slow enough. But the money shot, it's always on the Garmin system. So I've got 2 Garmin Livescopes in my boat. I've got 2 of the black boxes sitting under the deck. Front one I have set to perspective mode, sitting 60 feet out. So I look at a 60-foot casting radius around. The second one I set to forward view, and again 60 feet it looks out. And I fish basically a lot of middle of nowhere spots. If I can see a barra on the Livescope, I can cast at it and sometimes catch it, and that's cool for me. Broom fishermen don't like sitting in the one spot. We like roaming around. The advantage of having 2 Livescopes and 2 black boxes is when you have this Garmin perspective mount on your system, and I run mine on my Garmin Force, it takes a long time to pull the motor up, swap that around, twist it around, get it right, put it back down, and then do about 6 or 8 button keys to swap the view over. So I have 2 of these. I've one mounted here on the shaft of the Force, and then the second one, the one in forward view, mounts on the armature of the Force. Now I can plug both of those Livescope boxes into the one unit if I like, and hit 2 buttons, touchscreen bang, and I can swap views, or I can use the second unit, and I still haven't got the best system for that. What I'm going to try next is actually perspective view forward and back with them mounted on both sides of the trolling motor to see if I can get that 360-degree but 360 live view. But enough of that, let's have a look at some of the clips that I took the other night. Biggest barra was 114 centimetres, and that's the first one you're going to see here. So here we go, 41 feet of water. You can clearly see the barra about 30 feet out on the right hand side, and my jerkbait just to the left of it. There you go, the barra turns on the jerkbait, and while it's looking at the jerkbait, do not move it. It's sitting there. I thought it ate it here, but it didn't. Does a lap on the jerkbait. You can still see the jerkbait sitting there. A little twitch while it's going the other way, and then the fish comes and turns back on it. A little twitch, and it's just out of sight of the pan optics when it jumps on. See what happens when it hooks up. And that's the fish coming to the surface and jumping. It shows itself as a 114 centimetre fish. How cool is that? 50 foot of water amongst some sunken trees. You can target individual fish on a tiny jerkbait. Now, one of the reasons I like targeting these barra in deeper water, again 53 feet of water here, is it's not cluttered, the bottom. You can't see the bottom in the background. There's no shadows being cast. All you can see is that big return of one fish. Check it, reject the jerkbait here. Swims right past it, does not want a bar of it. You don't catch every fish with this technique, but the ones you do catch are bloody awesome. Now here's another situation, a fish heading away from the boat, and I throw the jerkbait in front of it, and I just try to make that jerkbait meet the fish. So here it is, it stops and it turns on it, charges it, has a bit of a look, charges it again, hits the jerkbait and doesn't hook up. Bang, there it is hitting it, and you can see that little boof of air gone, that fish. He not coming back. And finally, the behaviour you see from multiple barramundi is pretty cool. There's 4 or 5 fish here that have come up and they've had a look at the hydro wave, but they're sort of in travelling mode. You can see them daisy chaining away here. They're just following each other tail to tail. whenever I've found like 5 fish in a line like this, I haven't been able to tempt them to the jerkbait at all, and I've followed these things for a long way around the lake trying to get them to eat. They get in this mode where they're sort of reacting to each other, but they're not feeding, and I've found that the individual or 2 fish together are easier to target. Often they'll change direction like that, and you just have to write it off as a cool experience.